welcome back everyone. I know it's been a little while since you've been in the shop, but we got a lot of exciting things over the next week coming up, and also things have been crazy in here. So I'm going to give you just a quick 1-minute catch up on what's been going on. And we're not going to do anything today because tomorrow morning we are off to PRI and we're bringing the BigBadWolf with us. So I'm super excited about that. We'll be at the UMI booth, and yeah, I'll show you what we got going on here, and then I'll see you guys there. All right, so we are full swing with rebuilding cars for the winter. We've got chassis, we've got bits. It's looking like a Miata chop shop in here. Looked worse about a week ago, but we're slowly starting to get organized. The mezzanine's just full of Miata parts. I'm gonna give you the rundown and also give you a quick explanation as to what happened. So just a couple weeks before the last drift event for the year, we were having issues with the Mustang and with Lucy, and we finally figured it out. We had some bad ignition coils on Lucy, and once we got that car finally running right with all the new headers and parts on it, Amanda was excited to drive it for a little while. So she took it home and driving it, and then all of a sudden one day some car cut across her lane trying to dive into a car park, and she hit him. And yeah, so here's some pictures of that. Yeah, unfortunately those frame rails were pushed over, and it took me a bit of work to untwist that car, but we got bobcats and forklifts. And we got her kind of smacked back together because we wanted to hit the last drift event, and I wanted to have a lot of fun with the guys and make sure I take everyone for rides that I didn't get to early in the year. So we took Mia and Petey and Lucy out there. We got all 3 cars running awesome. We were having a sweet day. I mean, it was a lot of fun. We probably took 20 different people for rides, and Chris and Amanda were out doing tandems for the first time, and everything was great. And then right at the end of the day, decided, like, we thought we were done, and we're like, well, let's go back out one more time. And we were tired and started making mistakes, and I dove in on Chris in Lucy, and he was driving Petey, and he spun, and I came and just drove straight through the door of the poor Miata. I mean, we basically hit, Petey spun all the way around, so we hit driver door to driver door and basically just totaled both cars. So the front end of the Miata was cranked over, I don't know, 4 or so inches, and ended up a little shorter, and quarter panel damage. It was a mess. And also on PD, we broke the pulleys on the front of the motor, bent the subframe, the suspension, everything on that side of the car. And then on Lucy, it caved in the door and just in front of the rear tire there on the quarter. I mean, I think Lucy is about a foot narrower in one spot right now, but that car's still running. Anyway, so that meant that we had some rechassing projects to do, and that leads us to where we are now. So Lucy's still at home, drives okay. We put it back at home for now. We can work on that in the future. It can still go out and have fun. Petey, on the other hand, could not. So Petey got stripped, and it's hard to tell, but yeah, unfortunately the frame rails are kind of shoved over and up on this side, and all this is pretty rocked in, and we could have straightened it out, but also this thing was kind of janky. I mean, we bought this car like this, and there's always been things that were kind of weird on it. Also, we had the like temporary door bars that were welded in there, and plus the quarter tire, plus yeah, the quarter panel damage. And then also I hit that barrier last year, and this really definitely did not get fixed. So yeah, we decided to put it in a new chassis. It is kind of just a nasty car. I mean, this thermocoolant, this stuff was everywhere, and yeah, we tried getting it off sometime last year and kind of gave up. So that car's stripped, motor's here, subframe I spent some time repairing. Took some press work to get it unbent, welded all the cracks up, and just kept taking measurements until everything was square again. And then also reinforced these square tube sections, which are kind of weak. So there's big thick reinforcements on those now. So I think that thing should be good. Half of these parts on the floor are from the donor car. So we took kind of the best parts from each car. We got this great donor chassis here. Don't have a name for it yet, but it was a super clean chassis. Believe it or not, we're already about 20 hours of work into this thing, because there's a lot of tunnel modification you have to do to fit the V8 in these cars. So this tunnel is about 3 inches wider now. So all this got cut and hammered out and welded back together on both sides. These sections here are cut out, and then these plates, these are the same plates we used on the LFX cars. Those got welded on each side. And then we also cut the lip off the frame rail for clearance on the headers on both sides. And then just kind of TIG welded that back together. And on the inside, since we had to cut the tunnel up, I had to remove the braces. So these braces got cut off, and I welded those back on and threw some paint on it. Chris went ahead and did all the wiring changes we need and ran the extra wires so that the display will work. The display will work with the LS ECU, and you know, starter wire and starter and ignition wire. I've got the bigger fuel pump and fuel line installed, so it's starting to go back together. I would say we're, I don't know, like 20 hours and we'll be good to go on the new PD. But unfortunately, yeah, it was just kind of an all of a sudden project, and that delayed the rebuild of Moose. So Moose's chassis is still outside. This is the new Moose here. This blue chassis, what this is. Oh, that's the drop pan to lower the driver's seat. It's ready to be caged and plated. Also, if you guys need, if anyone needs any Miata gearboxes, we've got a whole pile of them, plus one DCT. I think we've got all the parts to rebuild Moose. We've got this cage, we've got cage material, we got everything to put PD back together, so we just need to get to work. But even with that, like I said, it is time to head out and head to PRI. So really excited. The UMI deal was awesome. I'll give you guys a 1-minute recap on that event. Yeah, UMI was just an incredible experience, and it just keeps going. So those guys invited me out and, you know, covered getting the car out to PRI. It's there now. I'll be there tomorrow to catch up with them and the car, and hopefully see some of you guys there. And yeah, the fun will continue. Of course, all the ASM boys will be there, and I mean, everyone in the racing industry is there. So I'll see you guys there.